is good, and Michael, you're going to get out of here with your predicted victory.
Good.
108-100. Lakers by 8.
Lakers powered up and take a 3-1 series lead over Houston.
LeBron drives right down the middle, got to the rim, lays it up and in. Boy, he makes that look easy, doesn't he?
So strong.
That's 3 straight wins over Harden and Russ.
It's the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Try Pizza Hut's Double It Box. 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas, so they can choose what they want, and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at pizzahut.com.
Lakers basketball is a final.
877-710 ESPN. Recapping Lakers basketball tonight. Game 4 of the semifinals from the NBA bubble in Orlando against the Rockets.
It's time for Lakers Postgame with Sliwa.
It's the Pizza Hut Lakers Postgame Show.
Tipping off now.
Here's Allen Sliwa.
All right, Laker fans, thank you very much for tuning in. Lakers over the Houston Rockets, 110-100 the final score. So Lakers now with a 3-1 lead over the Rockets. 1 game left to go. We'll talk a little bit later in the show about the Game 5, the chance to clinch it and get into the Western Conference Finals, most likely against the Los Angeles Clippers. We'll do that a little bit later in the show. As always, we want to start off this post-game show. I want to give out the phone number. You want to talk Lakers basketball, talk about this win for the Los Angeles Lakers. How about some of these bench contributions from guys like Rajon Rondo and Alex Caruso? How about LeBron James and Anthony Davis virtually flirting with a triple-double every single game? How about this Lakers defense all night tonight, specifically in that first half against the Houston Rockets? We can talk about it all right here. 877-710-ESPN. Give us a call. We'll get you a part of the postgame show. Okay, I want to start off. Basically, I've spent some time already talking about Alex Caruso. Got a chance to hear from Alex Caruso. I want to talk Rondo for a quick second. Rondo for the Lakers. By the way, how great is this? 2 straight postgame shows. Moving everybody else to the side. Let me talk about Rondo. And this is great because you want to be talking about other players other than Anthony Davis and LeBron James. If you're going to win an NBA championship this year, you got to have contributions off that bench. You got to have other role players stepping up. And the last 2 postgame shows, I got a chance to talk about Rondo, and I want to stay with that for a quick sec. I don't know if, it's so easy to sometimes watch the game and just get lost in certain plays and stats, and you kind of pay attention to just what looks great out there. Rondo might not look great all the time. It might not be beautiful basketball all the time, but Rondo off the bench tonight, 11 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals. So he's 2 assists away from a triple-double. He does that all in 29 minutes. Only took 8 shots for the Lakers, 5 of 8. Can you impact the game without taking high-volume amount of shots? Can you impact the game finding ways to get other players involved? I thought Rondo did that tonight. I thought Alex Caruso did that tonight with his 16 points, his 3 rebounds, his 2 blocks, and also his 2 assists. Now, as we slowly transition here from talking about a couple players off the bench, the starters for the Lakers, if you look up and down, I don't know the last time I said that Danny Green and KCP, 10 points each. Each had a steal. 2 players that if you can get 20 points, 25 points from those 2 players total, you're good. You don't need anything more from KCP and Danny Green. Markieff Morris started tonight's game in place of JaVale McGee. Man, I can't tell you how much when we talk about the lineups against this Houston Rockets team, the way head coach Frank Vogel, who's really kept all his secrets right to his chest. He hasn't shared any of these secrets with the media when he talks during some of these press conferences. In between games, he hasn't talked prior to the game, even holds the starting lineup up until a half hour. But his chess match with Mike D'Antoni of how the Lakers are going to play defense, their starting lineup, what it's going to look like tonight, Markieff Morris, no JaVale McGee. Lakers didn't play JaVale McGee. They didn't play Dwight Howard. That's crazy. I mean, if you really think about how much those 2 players have assumed that starting position in the center spot and have done a good job throughout the season. Coach has adjusted and said, nope, we're good. I have to adjust to this. This is a small ball lineup. This is a team that's going to go 6'7", is going to be their biggest guy. I have to have other players come in that make more sense, and coach isn't being stubborn about it. He's made the right adjustments. They've done a good job on the defensive side, doubling James Harden anytime he gets the ball, for the most part, making him try to be more of a facilitator. Just got to love overall what the Lakers have done to the Rockets. Did we not like the fourth quarter? Probably not. Do you want to go from up 23 to up 5? Probably not. But I wouldn't focus too much on that. I really genuinely feel the Lakers have complete control of this series. Lakers win by 10 over the Houston Rockets. All right, I want to give a quick shout-out to the Wallace Firm, official personal injury law firm of the Postgame Show on 710 ESPN all season long. They are serious trial lawyers who get serious results. Let them help you get the W. No win, no fee. Call them today, 844-844-WINS, or visit wallacewins.com. Let's go to Lakers head coach Frank Vogel on the Los Angeles Lakers 110-100 victory. You're listening to the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Hey, Frank, it was just yesterday that you said that you're never comfortable against Houston, no matter what the lead is and such. And, of course, the defense was so good the first three quarters. Is that what you meant, kind of that fourth quarter, maybe elapse a little bit to let them get back into the game?
Yeah, a little bit of a lapse, but again, this is a team of runs and, a team that's got a lot of fight and a lot of spirit and a lot of firepower. So it's a 48-minute game. We know if you get a big lead and they get, down at crunch time, they're going to get desperate. We didn't take care of the ball well enough and execute offensively well enough, but it's something we can work on and improve upon. And but overall, it's a heck of a win for our group. And again, we're not going to be comfortable playing against this team with the firepower that they have. So we're up 3-1, but we've got to stay the course and stay the more desperate team.
Frank, you talk a lot about LeBron and AD for all of the obvious reasons. What about guys like Caruso tonight, Rondo, KCP, Green, Morris, just the rest of those guys filling in the gaps and doing what they needed? What did you see out of the support players?
Yeah, well, we got two big guns in Anthony and LeBron, and I don't think the rest of the guys on this team get enough credit. We have a very, very deep team. Guys not in the rotation that we're playing big minutes on other teams, and it's a team first team. That's what I love about our group here. Like you said, Rondo, Alex. I was proud of Talon Horton-Tucker for coming in and getting his first playoff minutes and playing really well. He's got a bright future with us, and he gave us a big lift in that first half. Which is a good team win.
Hey, Frank. What's the feeling like? I know obviously free throws notwithstanding, but what's the feeling like to put in a defensive game plan and limit the leading scorer in the NBA to a 2-for-11 game in a playoff scenario?
Yeah, we're happy with what we're doing on the defensive end. It can always get better. Obviously, the fouls are plan A with guarding James Harden. Don't put in the free throw line, and we gave him 20 free throw attempts. So got to make sure we're doing a better job there. But overall, we're just trying to limit him and make him as uncomfortable as we can. He's seen every coverage there is in the world, and he knows how to attack it. And like I said, all along with this group and with him, we're not going to be comfortable because we know what he's capable of. So we just got to continue to watch film, get better, strengthen the plan each game that we play. Hopefully, be better in Game 5.
Allie? How good?
We performed exceptionally well, and none of us were surprised. We watch him play, on the off days and in the pickup games, and we've seen him a lot in the bubble here. We didn't see him a lot, aside from obviously the G League games during the season. But he's a talented kid, and he's unafraid. He plays beyond his years. And when we decided to go small, or smaller, I should say, starting Markieff, we knew we had some minutes there to get another wing in there. Confidence in JR. It was going to be Dion before he got hurt. But I just wanted to give Talon a chance because he continued to prove himself in practice, and I like what he brings to the table. Yeah, well, the rebounding isn't always about size. That's what we have to understand. I like the fact that we committed to box outs. We helped them with one offensive rebound. And this is something they do well. They crash from the corners and from the perimeter, It's a unique defensive rebounding assignment. So I was happy with our commitment more than, pleased that we have a size advantage over these guys. And then, offensively, we're trying to, play a little bit the way Houston does from the standpoint of crashing from the corners. Danny Green and Rondo had some big extra possession plays for us. And then obviously there's the size factor too. So that all plays into the rebounding.
All right, anybody else on your end, Tanisha?
Yes, we can do last three. We'll take Melissa Rowland first.
Hey, Frank, when that 23-point lead started slipping away, what was your message to the team and what was the mindset to sort of regain control of the situation?
Yeah, we got to keep playing. It's not a 44-minute game. This team has a lot of firepower. When a team's down 20 late in the game, especially in the playoffs, they're fighting for their lives. They're going to play with great desperation and gambling, and we just got to take care of the ball better and execute our offense, get better shots, and continue to attack. We just got to make sure we're not trying to milk the clock too much.
All right, that's Lakers head coach Frank Vogel right there. Good win for the Lakers. And by the way, I like what Coach is saying there at the end. Got to play 48 minutes. Lakers play 44. We'll take the 44 minutes. But more importantly, Lakers got another win. They're up 3-1. Saturday, they got a chance to just close this thing out, send the Rockets home, get them out of the Orlando bubble, and start preparing for what everybody thinks is going to be Lakers and the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. All right, we come back. I'm ready to talk to Laker fans here. 877-710-ESPN. I want to get your thoughts on this Lakers win. We'll do all that coming up next. Stay right here. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Keyshawn. You ready? LA's mega sports lineup. Are you ready?
On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny, is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m. How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson? Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
All-time starting 5. Who you putting in that top 5?
All-time starting 5 for the Lakers. I'm going Magic at the 1. Jerry West at the 2, Kobe at the 3, myself at the 4, and Shaq at the 5. I mean, Shaq is so dominant, man. I love Kareem too, man. I can't even front on that, man. But Shaq's so dominant. We need a big because I'm playing the 4, so we need a big.
AD already put himself in the top 5.
Oh, AD put himself in the top 5. Well, he could take me out. Put AD in the top 5. Take me out, dude.
All-time Lakers 5. You're putting together a Lakers starting lineup. Who's in that top 5?
Ooh.
You go position by position.
Yeah. You got to go Magic at point. Kobe at 2. I'm going to go James Worthy at 3. We're going to put him at the 3. He can play 3. At the 4, that's tough. 4, we're just going to go size. Young Shaq at the 4 and Wilt at the 5.
No one's going to argue that.
Yeah. That's a tough lineup.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Allen Sliwa.
Points in the Paint all season long is sponsored by Vista Paint, locally owned, manufactured, and operated, and with over 1,300 Vista Paint colors. Your perfect paint expression is at Vista Paint right now. And don't forget, visit vistapaint.com for your discount color sampler. Lakers points in the paint. This one got ugly. 62-24, Lakers all over the Houston Rockets points in the paint, but that shouldn't be a surprise or a shock. That's one of the strengths for the Los Angeles Lakers, one of the weaknesses for the Houston Rockets. Most importantly for the Lakers right now is you're a game away from the Western Conference Finals. Everyone is going to be watching, at least I think I am, and most Laker fans are going to be watching that Game 5 tomorrow between the Clippers and the Nuggets. And if the Clippers do what they're supposed to do and the Lakers do what they're supposed to do, this will be the first time the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers face each other in the postseason. It would come with the Western Conference Finals in this Orlando bubble. Who would have thought that? All right, let's take a couple phone calls here. You want to be a part of the postgame show? You want to react to tonight's win, how the Lakers played, the way the Lakers came out defensively and pretty much shut down the Houston Rockets, similar to what they did in Game 3 in the second half. You want to talk about some of the adjustments head coach Frank Vogel has made, how ridiculous Anthony Davis and LeBron James have been. 877-710-ESPN. We'll start off Forley in Los Angeles. Thank you for calling in. You're on the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Hey, it's great to be here. You know, I'm just rooting for the Lakers. We got Kyle Kuzma, an all-star in the making, and all he's got to do is learn how to play in the playoffs and dominate. Because we know LeBron's going to kill it. We know Anthony Davis is going to kill it. Rondo's got the experience. Dwight Howard's fresh, coming off the bench. So we just got to get those players. We've got this rookie playing now. I'm really excited if we can get our players all fired up, ready to play against the Clippers.
It's going to be a big one. Forley, we got a big one coming up here. We got to take care of business. I thank you for calling. I appreciate you being a part of the show. We got a big, obviously finish things off here first, but obviously the hype that's going to be there if it is Lakers and Clippers. Let me just point this out about Kyle Kuzma real quick. 4 points tonight, 3 assists, 2 of 6 from the field. There's so many other players that it makes sense to talk about. Almost had 7 guys in double figures. If Markieff Morris had 1 more point, he had 9 points. But Kuz, I think this entire playoff run, not forcing anything, understands, okay, this is going to be his value. His value is going to come from just coming out there, hustling, doing everything he can, whatever the Lakers need, however he can possibly contribute. You want to see that from a player that's never been in the postseason before. You definitely want to see a player like that kind of takes advantage of his opportunities, but also doesn't try to overdo it, and he doesn't sound like he's trying to do that at all. Eddie in Northridge. Eddie, thank you for calling into the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Thank you, Alan. I'm so excited, man. Lakers are looking like the Lakers. We have the city going again. It's exciting during these times. Alan, real quick, these Lakers don't remind you of Shaq and Kobe Lakers with Kyle Kuzma just mentioning, filling that Robert Horry and Rick Fox role and Rajon Rondo with the Ron Harper and Derek Fisher role of, the high IQ on the basketball. It's a big difference. These Lakers remind me that you keep talking about a third role player. We don't need a third. We got all these great players with Caruso's defense and Markieff Morris playing the Horace Grant role a little bit. I mean, come on. These Lakers, you keep talking about a third scorer, but what about all these players combining to step up? And look how versatile they are playing a smaller team.
Eddie,
awesome.
Eddie, I appreciate you calling in. The comp of the Kobe and Shaq days to now, I can't make that comp, to be honest with you, just because Shaq was such a different type of player than Anthony Davis is. Of course, Kobe and LeBron, completely different players. I understand what you're saying about how well the team is playing right now, and I definitely don't want to hear the Horry and Kyle Kuzma comp. That's got to wait. We got to give Kuzma a lot more time before we can make that conversation. We know what Horry was to the Lakers back then. As far as a third scorer, when people say a third scorer, what they're talking about is Michael was doing this in his keys to the game. He spent some time talking about how it was going to be important to have another player step up on just a consistent basis. It doesn't have to be the same player. I mean, it would be nice when you think of the Clippers, you say, okay, well, Lou Williams is going to step, Montrezl Harrell. Those are guys literally on average step up. Now, for the Lakers, I know it's kind of a different circumstance, different scenario, but I'll tell you what, if you got Danny Green giving you 10, KCP giving you 10, Markieff Morris chipping in with 9, Rondo with 11, Alex Caruso with 16, we'll be good. Lakers will be just fine. But you can't make the exact same comps between some of the other teams out there in the Houston Rockets. So as you progress in the playoffs, it's obviously going to get a little tougher. Okay, a couple more quick calls. Solomon in Lake Balboa, you're on the Lakers Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Okay, thank you. Couple of things. Tonight's game was interesting. I mean, when the Lakers were taking their big leads, the only thing I sat here worried about a little was when was Houston going to explode?
When were they going to make their run? Mm-hmm.
Thank you. There's like no safe lead against a team like Houston because when the three start falling, they score in bunches. Luckily, the lead was, padded enough and, hung on there in the end and made some key shots, which was terrific. And, at 71 years old, I've watched enough playoffs to know that a lot of times, let's say it gets to the point of the Clippers, your superstars sometimes are a wash, and it's always your support and your role players that will make or break a series. And the Lakers supporting cast can keep on playing consistently like this. The Lakers got a good shot.
Solomon, thank you for calling in. Appreciate it, man.
Sure, man.
What's interesting, when we say superstars will be a wash, that would then be saying that Paul George and Anthony Davis would be a wash. Pretty sure I'm going to go take AD on that one, especially on a consistent basis, all around. I mean, I've said this before, and this isn't a knock. I'm not trying to knock on Paul George or anything like that, but shouldn't even be in the same conversation when it comes to what AD does and his capability and obviously what he can do down low. So I don't know if that's the same comp. But the role players, that part's going to be obviously big for the Lakers. Byron Scott was on the pregame show. He talked about that as well. Let me squeeze in one more call. Eric in North Dakota. Eric, appreciate you calling in, bud.
Hey, I'm just wondering, Kay, because I'm looking at this series. Hey, it's 3-1.
Yep.
I'm kind of looking past that.
You're already turning the page, huh? Already turning the page,
yep,
Eric.
I'm kind of already turning the page.
Okay.
I don't think these Houston Rockets can beat the Lakers 3 straight. I'm thinking, who are the Clippers guarding in terms of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and who the hell is going to guard Anthony Davis?
That is a fantastic question, Eric, and I'm glad you brought it up. Let's get one more win, and then we'll start worrying about that. I will say this. Lakers are definitely going to have mismatches against the Clippers, and Clippers are going to have some mismatches against the Lakers. So it's going to have to be done by committee. It's going to have to be done by a team, and we all can kind of gauge what that's going to be. But I do agree with you that the Rockets are not going to win 3 games in a row. I don't think they're going to win 1 game in a row. I had mentioned Lakers over the Rockets in 5. Hopefully the Lakers can fulfill that coming up this Saturday. Lakers basketball is brought to you by Dignity Health. Safety first, healing always. There's never been a better time to get the care you need. Visit dignityhealth.org/SoCal. Lakers over the Rockets 110-100. We come back, we'll hear from LeBron James. LBJ, 16 points, 9 assists, 15 rebounds, 2 steals. What more does LeBron James have to do? We'll hear from him coming up next. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Keyshawn. You ready? LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready? On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny, is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m.
How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at PizzaHut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
All-time Lakers starting 5. Who's in your starting 5?
Am I now a part of that roster now? I could be a part of that.
Do whatever you need to do.
Okay, I have Magic, Kobe at the 2, LJ at the 3. I'm at the 4. Got to go with the most dominant ever, Shaq at the 5.
That's a pretty good starting 5 right there. Pretty good.
Ooh, that's tough. I have Magic at the 1, Kobe at the 2, LeBron at the 3. Ooh, this is tough for the 4 and 5. All right, so I'm going to put Kareem at the 4, and I'm going to put Shaq at the 5, and I'll be the 6th man.
I like that. No one's beating that 5.
Nobody's beating that 6, you know.
That's 6. There you go.
We're going to get a ball to Shaq, let him go to work, get everybody in foul trouble. Then Kareem is going to skyhook everybody to death. Then Magic's going to push the break. Then Shaq will be a little bit tired from, you know, scoring all those points and dunking on everybody. So we'll get him the sub. I'll be the 6th man.
There you go.
And now I'm coming in the game and I'm doing pick and rolls with Magic and LeBron. And then in the 4th quarter, we get a ball to Kobe and let him close the game out.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
Here's Allen Sliwa.
There's no need to waste time at the car wash anymore. Mobile Wash brings the car wash to you in minutes with everything necessary to bring your car to a full shine. It's the only app that offers on-demand car washing services wherever you are in SoCal. Download Mobile Wash now and use promo ESPNLA to save. Just a quick reminder, when we're done with the postgame show, Scott Kaplan will be coming up next. He'll go till 10 p.m. tonight. Okay, so a couple things I want to hit on here, and we'll start kind of thinking about Game 5 here from the Los Angeles Lakers. So LeBron, I mentioned, had the 16, 15, and 9. Anthony Davis, another solid game from AD. Goes 40 minutes for the Lakers, 10 of 18 from the field, 29 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 block shots. This is what your stars are supposed to be doing on a night-in, night-out basis. This is not a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise. This is exactly what the Los Angeles Lakers, what the fan base is expecting from LeBron, exactly what the fan base is expecting from Anthony Davis. Every time I tell Michael Thompson, I start talking about, you know, the two great superstars for the Lakers, like, Alan, that's what they're supposed to be doing. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to actually do it, and they're doing it on a consistent basis. We're really not mentioning too much about those two players because they're literally doing it every single night. So I know I find myself always looking at the box score and trying to find somebody else to talk about, because what's expected on a night-in, night-out basis is the Lakers behind Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Those two players lead the way, and then everybody else follows. What you don't want to see tonight, by the way, or what you don't want to see on Saturday, is the Lakers take their foot off the gas. I know I say that in every single game, but this time I mean it. What you don't want to see from the Lakers is in Game 5 that they let up a little bit. So I'll just use as an example. In tonight's game, Lakers had a 23-point lead. They let up. They let up in that 4th quarter. They let up. There was a stretch there what they let up. But I don't want to put too much on that because they built that big of a lead, and you know everybody knows Lakers weren't going to lose this game once they were up by 16 at halftime or in the 2nd quarter, whenever that was. But Game 5 is one of those games where you're definitely paying close attention to, because the last thing that you want is to draw out a series for no reason at all. That was a danger in that Blazers series too. It's like, no, let's get this thing over with. You hope that the Lakers come out on Saturday, start the game, and play the game for 48 minutes, kind of like they did today for the most part, and just take care of business so you could start worrying about the Los Angeles Clippers, most likely in the Western Conference Finals. Dan in Santa Ana. Dan, appreciate you calling in. You're on the Lakers postgame show.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. First of all, I want to give a shout-out to all the YouTubers on the postgame after the postgame. We're all looking forward to your fist pump.
Sounds good.
Tonight.
Sounds good.
And first of all, I want to say there's a lot of Houston fans out there that are saying that they don't have Daniel House Jr. like he's some superstar player. Well, think about it this way. We don't have Avery Bradley. And Avery Bradley, to me, is a more important piece to the Lakers than Daniel House.
Oh, no, I wouldn't worry about, don't even pay attention. The Daniel House thing, I mean, and, even if he was playing, Dan, and I appreciate you calling in. I'm going to squeeze in a couple more calls here. Even if he was playing, and I'm not saying that he's not an asset, because he is an asset to the to the Houston Rockets, but that's not going to be, the difference. That's not a game changer. If he is in the lineup, what's it going to mean? Lakers are still going to win this series. I don't even think it's going to have the influence of an entire game, in my personal opinion on that. But with all that being said, what I will say is there was a ton of conversation about Avery Bradley, once we figured out that Avery Bradley was not going to be a part of the Orlando bubble. And that's kind of calmed down a little bit. It's quieted down. The reality is, most likely, by the time we get to that series against the Clippers, maybe that conversation comes up again because he was certainly key. Certainly key in what the Lakers were doing earlier in the season. Okay, one more quick call. Cutsy in LA. Thank you for calling in. Go ahead.
Hey, man, how are you?
Good, man. Thank you for calling in.
No problem. Hey, I'm looking at the stats right now, but it doesn't look such a good game for us. So,
what don't you like? What didn't you like?
Originally Anthony Davis and Braun usually would have 30 plus. Usually, right now I see LeBron 34 minutes, 16 points.
Cutsy, what's the most important stat at the end of the game? What's the most important? Stat?
At least 30 plus.
But what's the most important stat when the game's over?
At least 34 minutes and
No. Cutsy, let me thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. Let me go to work on this one, Cutsy. The most important stat when the game is over. It's who wins the game. Did the Los Angeles Lakers just go up 3-1 on the Houston Rockets? They did. And you know why? You want to know why LeBron James only had 16 points for the Lakers? Because 29 other points came from Markieff Morris, Danny Green, and KCP. And then another 27 points came from Rajon Rondo and Alex Caruso. You could actually say 36 points came off the bench after the 29 that came from Markieff Morris, Danny Green, and KCP. So trust me when I tell you this. Don't worry about LeBron James. LeBron has shown on a night-in, night-out basis that whatever he's got to do to win, winning is the most important thing. Nothing else matters. And in tonight's game, that's exactly what we saw. LeBron James certainly delivering on that front. I want to go to, real quick here, let's play some of KCP. KCP addressing the Lakers' 110-100 win over the Houston Rockets.
Kind of a wild game there. You guys were up 23, and all of a sudden you were up 5. What from your vantage point, kind of happened out there? Obviously, Alex Caruso did hit a big 3 to kind of reestablish the momentum there.
What was that question again?
You guys were up 23, and then all of a sudden you were up only 5, it seemed. What reestablished the momentum for you? Obviously, a big shot by Alex Caruso there.
Yeah, that big shot by Alex, got us the momentum back. That kind of caused quiet down the run that Houston had, and then we ended up just closing out with our defense.
Yeah, about that defense, it was really good for most of the game. Is that what's going to carry you guys perhaps past this round and maybe even into the NBA Finals?
Yes, we got to stay aggressive on the defensive end. Defense does win championships, so you gotta continue to be relentless on that end, and then just do what we do best: get out in transition, and play Laker basketball.
Back to Caruso for a second. I know you spent a lot of time with him in the backcourt. He just was undrafted out of Texas A&M, kind of spent a few years in the G League, up and down with you guys and the South Bay Lakers as well. 16 points tonight, probably the biggest shot of his life. What does it say about his character?
He's amazing. He comes in, work every day, and it shows, on and off the court. He's one of the guys that's just going to, give us that energy off the bench. He's going to dive for loose balls. He's going to play guard the best players. We need that energy off the bench. And AC is great. He brings that energy for us. Bill?
All right, you guys can take it there.
KCP, when you think about that game 1 loss and how you guys really were struggling to meet the Rockets with their speed, what's the biggest thing that's come along in your defensive ability since then to now?
Man, it's just more of we all just like on one accord. We pulling for each other. Our game plans was to get the ball out of James' hands, and we were going to be in rotations. So once we got into the trap, we already knew our rotation, and we were just already there. And we just did it with effort. Even if we messed up or missed a coverage, we did it with effort, and it kind of slowed Houston down.
As a follow-up, obviously the Rockets came back in the fourth, but in the third, were you just feeling like these guys seemed kind of beat?
Yeah, we felt like when we went up, we felt like they was getting tired. We was running them a lot in transition, pressuring them the whole game. We felt like they got tired, but then Houston is a great team, so they end up flipping it in the fourth, and they run it back to 5, and we had to pick our pace back up to close the game out.
All right, KCP, I got one or two more for you, I think. Ferdinand?
Hey, KCP, how important have been the bench players in this playoff run?
How big is the what now?
How important have been the bench players in this playoff run?
It's very important. We're gonna need the guys off the bench. We got some great talent that's coming off the bench. Rondo, AC, Markeith, Cools. We got the great talent to come off. To keep the game going. And our bench is like phenomenal. They come in and keep the same energy, and they just play hard regardless.
All right, KCP.
All right, that's KCP right there. Coming up next, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Stay right here. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710.
Hey, it's Keyshawn. You ready? LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready? On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m.
How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
All-time starting 5. Who you putting in that top 5?
All-time starting 5 for the Lakers. I'm going Magic at the 1. Jerry West at the 2, Kobe at the 3, myself at the 4, and Shaq at the 5. I mean, Shaq is so dominant, man. I love Kareem too, man. I can't even front on that, man. But Shaq's so dominant. It's we need a big because I'm playing the 4, so we need a big.
AD already put himself in the top 5.
Oh, AD put himself in the top 5. Well, he can take me out. Put AD in the top 5. Take me out, dude.
All-time Lakers 5. You're putting together a Lakers starting lineup. Who's in that top 5?
Ooh.
You go position by position.
Yeah. You got to go Magic at point. Kobe at 2. I'm going to go James Worthy at 3. We're going to put him at the 3. He can play 3. At the 4, that's tough. 4, we're just going to go size. Young Shaq at the 4 and Wilt at the 5.
No one's going to argue that.
Yeah. That's a tough lineup.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box.
So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at pizzahut.com.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Allen Sliwa.
Lakers basketball on 710 ESPN is brought to you by Metro. Metro continues to strengthen cleaning on our buses and trains with added services to help maintain social distancing. For your essential trips, learn more at metro.net/we're here for you. Lakers over the Rockets 110-100. They're up 3-1. Drop the first game, win the next 3. Let's close this thing out on Saturday. Let's take a listen here. LeBron James following the Lakers' 10-point win.
Hey, LeBron, if you take out that big run Houston made in the fourth when you guys were up, what did you guys figure out about the small unit defensively that was going to limit Houston like it has last game with Markieff at the 5 and again up until the 4th today?
Well, first of all, I want to hit on that last part. Obviously, we got to be better. We got to close out games the right way. We get a big lead. We got to be able to, continue to defend and continue to put the pressure on their defense and not allow them to get back into the game like we did. We started to give up, some threes. We started to give up, some fouls in the backcourt when we were in the penalty, and allowing them to score without the time running. So we'll be better. We'll watch film. We'll be better. But to get to your point, being able to have the luxury of being able to start keep at the 5 and having that versatility, having more speed out on the floor, allowed us to stay home a lot on their 3-point shooters, and for the majority of the game. And so it worked very well for us.
LeBron, what stood out the most to you about the players around you and AD? You can name any one guy you want that tonight, whether it was Caruso or Rondo. What are the things that these guys have embraced about how you guys want to play as a team to support you two?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's still a learning experience for some of our guys. This is AC's first playoff run. This is Kuz's first playoff run. Obviously, we got Rook in the game today, and he was huge in his first stint in the postseason. And we want to continue to grow every single day. And I thought AC grew today. Today was game 4. We played 5, so this was AC's 9th playoff game, and he's grown and grown ever since the first playoff game to today. Doe was, consistent as he's been in this series, and then like you said, Kuz has some good minutes, but I thought Rook was really good tonight. Coming off and giving us some huge minutes when Keith got fouls, got a little foul trouble. He came in and gave us some great minutes. So. It's still a learning experience for some of our guys, but everyone works off of me and AD, and we just try to put them in position to be successful, and they also do the same with us.
Hey, LeBron, it's Dave. Did you feel like tonight, between the John from the benches to some of the players on the court, the dual technicals for AD and Russell, and just the general demeanor, that this series kind of is ramping up, or tonight ramped up a little bit in chippiness, intensity, and anything like that?
No, it's just playoff basketball.
Fair enough.
Still playing through.
Playing really loose and free.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, through the first, I would say 43. Probably about 43 minutes, 42 and a half minutes, we had our game plan, and we executed that. And for the majority, if you're going to execute your game plan for that long, for consistent minutes, you're going to come out victorious. But we want to strive for something better than that. We want to work the game plan for 48 minutes. And we'll do a better job of that. And like I said, we're still a team that's, we're still a team that's grown as well. I mean, like I said, we got some guys that's not been a part of the postseason. This is our first run together in the postseason. This is only our 9th game together in the postseason. So we'll get better with that. But I thought today we had a great game plan, and and everybody tried to execute it as much as we could.
All right, that's LeBron James right there. That's actually an interesting point to say that they've only played. I haven't really even thought of it from that perspective. We played 9 games together in the postseason. It's not like this Lakers team has 2, 3, 4 years on this run together like some of these other postseason or playoff teams have. But that's a good point, that they're still learning from each other and obviously trying to put themselves in a position from. We know how the Lakers were playing back in March. They were the favorites to win an NBA championship, and then it's been a little bit of up and down battle to get back into Orlando. But here's the bottom line. Lakers right now are sitting. It took them 5 games to beat the Portland Trailblazers. They're a game away from taking care of the Rockets in 5 games as well. All right, that was LeBron James. Let's hear from Anthony Davis. AD, by the way, had this shirt on. It said GOAT, obviously greatest of all time, and it had all of Kobe's championship rings on there. So Anthony Davis representing the great late Kobe Bryant. Here's AD on the Lakers' 10-point win over the Rockets.
Hey, AD, what about the small ball group when you guys are still pretty long, as LeBron just said? What works best defensively against this particular matchup against the Rockets?
Just able to rotate faster. We can switch a lot. really it. You know, our when we match up with those guys, we're able to switch a lot of things and keep the ball in front of us, and as well, you know, getting caught up in rotations. You know, when they do drive and get by one of us and they start kicking out for threes, our guys are able to rotate and cover up for our mistakes. So that's a good thing about matching up with them. But at the same time, we still have enough size where, you know, we can rebound the basketball and kind of punish them on the other end as well.
LeBron mentioned some of the younger guys, you know, Taylor Horton-Tucker stepping up today, Caruso, just 9 playoff games. You still don't have a ton of playoff games at this point of your career, AD. What are you guys still learning about each other, and where do you need to keep growing as you make your push towards your ultimate goal?
The grade is the same. I think we're still learning each other, you know, each and every game. We have plays where we're not on the same page offensively, and it just comes from, you know, whether it can be the 4 months off or just still learning each other. So, especially in this time. But we have enough guys who play extremely well for us, like you mentioned, AC and Taylor. Especially Taylor, you know, his first playoff game, you know, in a big game, he comes in and plays extremely well on both ends of the floor. You know, we're all so happy for him. But, you know, I think that the more and more we get a chance to have guys on the floor, the more we can get to learn each other. You know, me and AC had a couple plays where we weren't on the same page, and you know, me and Bron still have it sometimes. So just constantly trying to figure each other out and get to know each other, but also at the same time doing what we got to do to get the win.
Hey, AD, it's Dave. You had 29 and 12 tonight, and another strong performance. But sometimes it seems like there's even another level we haven't seen from you. How do you feel like you are putting your impact on the game so far these playoffs, and are there things that you expect even more out of yourself for?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was a step slow on the defensive rotations tonight. You know, I feel like I can be better defensively. Offensively, I mean, I'm just not trying to force anything. Obviously, when the shot clock's running down, I have to shoot it, but trying to make the right reads. And I think tonight I was overthinking it a little bit. Just trying to figure out how they were going to play me. I know at the end of Game 3, they started doubling, and so I was trying to play for that tonight, and kind of got knocked off my rhythm early. But, you know, for me to just keep going, I go in and try to get offensive rebounds, you know, screen for my teammates, do all the intangibles, and make sure that I can affect the game in other ways than just scoring the basketball.
All right, that's Anthony Davis right there, kind of breaking it down. And by the way, a couple things I want to promote here. As the postgame show concludes, don't forget, Scott Kaplan is coming up till 10 p.m. tonight. So he'll continue to keep this Los Angeles Lakers conversation going, and, of course, everything on a local basis. Our next game, Lakers and the Rockets. 3 p.m. is the pregame show on Saturday. So myself and Michael Thompson will get things going at 3 o'clock on Saturday. Tip-off will be at 5 o'clock. And we could be in a position 48 hours from now where the Los Angeles Lakers are headed to the Western Conference Finals. So that's all that matters from here. One more win from the Los Angeles Lakers. Like I mentioned, Scott Kaplan is coming up next. Thank you to everybody that's been a part of the broadcast. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Thank you for listening to Lakers basketball tonight. Lakers powered up and take a 3-1 series lead over Houston.
Lakers basketball on ESPN LA is sponsored by Sincoro Tequila, official sponsor of the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers basketball. Lakers basketball.
Brought to you by Jiffy Lube. For even more savings, check out jiffylubesocial.com. Brought to you by Mobile Wash. Need a car wash? Download Mobile Wash and have one of our professionals bring the car wash to you in minutes at home or work. Experience Mobile Wash. Car wash delivered.
Brought to you in part by Dignity Health. Safety first, healing always. There's never been a better time to get the care you need. Visit dignityhealth.org/SoCal. Get closer to Lakers basketball right here.
Lakers basketball.
Try Pizza Hut's Double It Box. 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas, so they can choose what they want, and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at PizzaHut.com.